leaders from NITAU and colleagues from ICT Association, friends and Ugandans across the globe. All protocols observed for ministers who may be here, honorable ministers who may be here. Welcome to today's session on Uganda's digital economy. I want to also extend special thanks to the people who have put this together, especially Hajat Hamida, and my special gratitude goes to the Senior Presidential Advisor and Head of the State House Diaspora Unit, Mr. Muhammad Bagonza, and Deputy Head and Mr. Henry Wabiona, Mr. Matsuko Tofa, thank you for your work. You've been doing this for quite some time. Head of Liaison and Partnerships and the entire State House Diaspora Unit team for their dedication, commitment, and tireless work in bringing us together through this webinar series. Your effort continue to build stronger collaboration, enhance communication, and promote meaningful diaspora engagement in Uganda's national development. Our topic today is Uganda is the digital economy, ICT, and AI. That is the theme that we've been working on. This is the 6th series, and the topic is Uganda's digital economy, ICT investment, AI, BPO, mobile communication, and tech opportunities for the diaspora. I have several panelists who are just an amazing array of panelists who are going to be talking about this digital economy. And I wanted to start off, and as Mr. Matsuko said, whether we're going to start off with Engineer Mujimba. There's a bunch of questions that many people have, and these questions have to do with how are we going to build this digital economy? But before I do that, let me tell you more about Engineer Mujimba, give you her bio. Christine Mujimba is the Director of ICT and Research at the Uganda Communications Commission. She is a registered electrical engineer with over 20 years of experience in ICT regulation, digital transformation, telecommunication, research, and innovation. She leads a strategic initiatives in artificial intelligence. That's the topic we're talking about, the digital economy, cybersecurity, ICT policy, and research, playing a key role in advancing Uganda's digital transformation agenda. She has previously served as a senior leadership position at UCC, including head of spectrum management and head of strategy and research. Engineer Mujimba holds a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from Makerere University, a Master of Science in Communications, Systems and Signal Processing from University of Bristol, and an Executive MBA from Rochester Institute of Technology. She is widely recognized for her leadership in ICT innovation, communication regulation, and digital policy development in Uganda. There is a whole bunch of questions that she's going to be answering. Lead us away. I'm going to, as a panelist, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that have come from the diaspora and other places. So the first question that we have in mind is, Uganda has prioritized the digital economy as a key driver of national development. Could you briefly explain the government vision for the ICT sector over the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Take it away, Engineer Mujimba.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tendo, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining from on this call. Thank you, Hajat Hamida and your team, for allowing the ICT sector to be spotlighted, because indeed It's what has even powered this very meeting. So this is a very great opportunity. And for once, we'll have good news, I guess, on our airwaves, but to take it away straight in terms of priorities. And I'll, of course, be talking through what the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, who have been given the executive leadership on behalf of the government of Uganda in spearheading the digital economy and other initiatives through the communication sector. So over the next 5 years, we know that Uganda's sector vision is anchored in the national development aspiration, where as Uganda, we want to transform into a modern, prosperous, and digitally driven knowledge-based economy. And this is under our Vision 2040. I encourage all of us to familiarize ourselves with this. And every 5 years, we have our national development plans that are drawn. And right now, we're in the 4th National Development Plan. And this plan, along with a 10-fold growth strategy, aims to expand the Uganda's economy from approximately $50 billion to $500 billion by 2040. And within this overarching vision, ICT is explicitly positioned not just as a standalone sector, but it's a cross-cutting enabler of productivity, industrialization, creating jobs, and efficient public service delivery. We have also heard, if we have been following closely, the remarks of our President, His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who has several, while talking about the key sectors, mentioned ICT. And recently, in the budget speech, the President did mention this, and I quote, "Wealth is in commercial agriculture, manufacturing, service, and ICT." And this is very important because if you have the president and that political leadership highlighting that wealth is in not just commercial agriculture, manufacturing, service, and ICT, that in itself speaks volume. He also went on to say, if you want health, those are the 4 sectors. Wealth, those are the 4 sectors where wealth is. Once people create wealth, the wealth creates jobs. So this emphasizes that ICT is central pillar in Uganda's wealth creation and employment strategy in the next 5 years. We also have the Digital Uganda vision now going into the digital economy. We have a Digital Uganda vision and our digital transformation roadmap, which the Ministry of ICT has championed, and it has critical pillars, including strategic direction to encourage investment in broadband infrastructure, to improve connectivity, digital services through e-government systems, cybersecurity, and digital skills development. On the fiscal side, we also have fiscal and institutional alignment, which is ensured through the annual budget framework papers, alongside the domestic revenue mobilization strategy of the government and the medium-term revenue strategy. And these ones increasingly leverage digital systems to improve tax administration, compliance, and public revenue efficiency. I thought I should also share some ICT sector targets that are under the National Development Plan 4, which are aligned to Uganda's Vision 2040. So one of the targets for the ICT sector is in terms of broadband coverage. We want to see 90% geographical coverage. And this has been translated further through the government agencies such as UCC, Uganda Communications Commission, to the licensed service providers to ensure that they have obligations that we monitor for them to achieve this within this NDP4. We are looking at having household connectivity, 90% of household connected, digitized government services, looking at 80 to 90% of public services online. We are looking to have digital economy jobs, over 1.7 million potential ICT-enabled jobs by 2030, business process outsourcing job creation. Through that, we are looking at having 150,000 jobs by 2030. In terms of economic impact, we hope as a sector and through the digital transformation program that our contribution will be 14.6 trillion Uganda shillings, additional GDP contribution by 2030. in terms of digital literacy, promoting nationwide digital skills and STEM integration across education and the entire workforce. And of course, inclusion, we don't want to leave anyone behind. So with a target of near universal digital access ambition. So with this, the Uganda's digital transformation agenda is reinforced by its growing competitiveness in the global outsourcing markets. And you may have read that recently Uganda was ranked 24th out of 193 countries in the Global Outsourcing Talent Index. This is a very good thing, and this places us top 13% globally. We are ranked 12th globally in labor cost competitiveness, and labor, as we all know, is very important for investment and doing business. And we are second within the East African community behind Kenya, and we're also among only 7 African countries in that.
Let me interject a little bit. Have a conversation with us, because those are all numbers.
Okay.
What are some of the hurdles that you're having in implementing all this?
Okay. In implementing all this, okay.
Yes, for instance, education, it's in building infrastructure. These are key things that you need to get that digital economy going. Can you tell us some of the hurdles that you have?
Okay, I thought I wanted to first let us know that indeed we already set in terms of the stage from a vision, because policy is very important, and that is what gets us to the hurdles as we implement. So we did, and as I talk about the hurdles, I'll also talk about the opportunities that arise. We recently did a study in 2025, 2026. It was commissioned by the Commission, working with a local consultant who collaborated with others, a team of experts, to assess what are the ICT investment opportunity and sector constraints. So onto your point of what are the hurdles, to inform what needs to be done to improve cost efficiency, predictability in regulation, infrastructure sharing. And in terms of opportunities, we saw expansion of the national backbone infrastructure. This is already being done by the government, but also private sector has a role. So there is that opportunity of broadband backbone and last mile connectivity. Expansion of fiber networks, telecom towers, last mile infrastructure in underserved areas, secondary towns. We also saw
Is that for building broadband? Is that an opportunity that people in the diaspora would take advantage of?
Yes, because
what plans do you have in floating a bond of sorts, or perhaps through remittances, so that we can, at least people from the diaspora can participate in building broadband? Because when the United States was building their broadband, this is about 20 years ago, they actually started slowly because to get these miles of broadband, cable modems, and so forth. So building this infrastructure may take us some time. And what is your estimate of time? What do you think that, how much time do you think this will take?
So, that time we are looking at, so what we are not just building the pipelines for the sake of building them, but to enable meaningful connectivity. And that is why I started with a target that says 90% geographical coverage. Right now, we hope that by 2028, 2029, through the different infrastructures that are there, whether it's fiber, wireless, that would have attained that 90% geographical coverage. Now, we already have an open, a liberalized environment, as you know, which allows investors to come in, go through the processes of licensing. So today, if you're an investor in the diaspora and you think that building a fiber network or telecom infrastructure or tower or last mile connectivity, you just have to find out what are the requirements from a regulatory perspective. The licenses are available, where we do not tie anyone to a technology, so you can choose whatever technology of choice in terms of infrastructure and also services provision. For those who want to provide,
how does the Starlink connection, the satellites, does that help you at all?
Yes. Okay.
Because
I think you're jumping.
we just
Yes,
signed, we just
yes.
signed up with Starlink, and that should be able to help us tremendously.
And actually that confirms what I've just said, that you can come in with your technology of choice. And that is the beauty of the current regulatory framework. It does not say we are licensing people to put up fiber per se, and then we change and all that. So today we have satellite, the other next day you don't know what technologies we'll have. So yes, Starlink and other service providers who want to use satellite connectivity to reach underserved areas can be able to invest in that, because there's an opportunity for especially last mile connectivity in underserved areas and optimizing. The other opportunities are around data centers and cloud services. We have a few, of course, but with artificial intelligence, and we have experts here, I know we'll talk about it later, is that you need these data centers to be developed and deployed. And so that is also another opportunity for investors to come in, cloud hosting, managed services for e-government platforms available. There are also opportunity for mobile virtual network operators where you don't have necessarily to set up your own network. You can ride on existing networks. And again, what the setup is that you're allowed to commercially negotiate with existing service providers, and you do not necessarily have to incur the heavy cost of investment, and just leverage what is there and maybe concentrate now on the service angle. And we have a number of players who have come in like that, and it frees up the money that they may have to do services instead of investing in infrastructure as well as infrastructure sharing. We have opportunities, as we all know. We are right now online content. Content is there. Digital broadcasting platforms, content production ecosystem is also something that can be leveraged. There's another sector that we don't talk about often, but which is key. And we saw this during COVID when parcels and packages had to be delivered, last mile delivery, and that is where courier and e-commerce comes in. This is in terms of fulfillment services and addressing and tracking platforms that provides immediate opportunities. So in terms of broadband, immediate opportunities in infrastructure and services, broadcasting, it's in platforms and content and logistics, and courier, we have it in services, content, and logistics. And so Ugandans in the diaspora are welcome. The stage has been set. Of course, there are other aspects of the ecosystem that come into play that also government has put in place, such as the tax investment incentives and all that. So yes, that's what I can say for now around that.
Those tax incentives, and but also talk to us a little bit about this gender gap between women and men, and their connectivity, having cell phones and so forth. How does that manifest itself in the villages of Uganda, and how do we address it as ICT folks?
Okay, so gender is a big part of, so when we talk about underserved areas and communities, we also slice it further onion to look at gender women, and indeed they tend to be left behind, but that has been improved with different interventions. We have under the different digital skilling initiatives in the sector where we target specifically skills that involve women groups. And UCC in particular has the through the Universal Service and Access Fund, we have done digital skilling for women. And it's amazing when you see how their faces are lit up. Just even issues of getting a phone, touching a phone, and having an email for the first time alone, that is very liberating. Because sometimes when you talk about that gap, we are thinking because some of us are high end, you're on Zoom, you're ahead of the pack. But there are people who only have community phones that we call them, the feature phones, the button phones. And just through the different pilots that we have done, where you enable these women to be able to come into community groups and have access to a smartphone and be able to even just have a WhatsApp, for example, business account, and so that the product is really very liberating. So we're already having these initiatives, and they run on an annual basis, ensuring that no one is left behind. So again, that speaks to the opportunities. So there are opportunities on the global perspective, but when you look and go down to the demographics, whether it's youth, whether it's women, whether it's even students, universities, you even get and create more opportunities to invest and to develop customized services to meet the different demographics. So we are also intentionally now moving in terms of our monitoring of how people interact with services to slice this further, especially now that the government has the parish development model, to say, okay, what, and we are able to see the statistics when you look at, for example, the SIM cards that are registered. Of course, people, when you register, you declare your gender and all that. So you're able to draw some patterns which inform the interventions that go through private partners or funders who may be interested to target especially women. Yeah.
Also, America built Facebook and other marketing places that can market their produce and other things. Do we envision as the ICT, as Ugandans, a place where we can build such platforms, there's such digital platforms that will enable, that are locally built, that will enable local folks, somebody from Bushenyi or Nakapiripit, would be able to sell from these platforms to other Africans or perhaps East Africans. Do we have a plan like that in place to help villagers or farmers who would go to these hubs? Do we have a pipeline where they could go and actually talk to people in these great hubs, parish model hubs that the president has been talking about? What are your plans for availing those opportunities to villagers who have no clue where this e-commerce is going?
Okay, so the first thing is that mobile money has been one of the greatest accelerators in enabling people to connect, including the people you've talked about, a farmer, an old lady, wherever, just that you're able there. You're in the diaspora, you're sending them money or vice versa. So that in itself, mobile money has been an accelerator of them coming into the market and business. But a lot is already being done under the Ministry of ICT. A few years ago, there was a National ICT Initiative Support Program that was flagged, and it was really recognizing that we have these. We want to build and support innovation and entrepreneurship, which is at the core of our digital transformation roadmap as a sector. And through that, government was able to allocate funds that resulted in a National ICT Innovation Hub that is right now located at the Uganda Institute of Information and Communication Technologies in Nakawa. And a lot of startups have been domiciled there and helped an entrepreneurs. And so these things are not far from us. We are able to do them locally. Already, when I mentioned that statistics of the labor cost and all that, the ranking that we are in the BPO, it says that we have that talent. So this is also being expanded to, there are already universities, for example, which have innovation hubs in them, whether it is Makerere University Business School, that typical public universities that we know. The ministry is working with Gulu, Busitema, and really trying to spread these centers regionally so that through them, people can be able to innovate and have spaces where they develop products that speak to our challenges and local context. So yes, this is already there, and it's the intention to continue to build this while also private sector And we have a number of innovation hubs that you may have heard of, which are already in this space, who are also plugging in and nurturing a number of these. So, for example, when you're traveling out of Uganda, you have to do a health declaration in terms of Ebola now. That system, it may look simple. Even COVID, it was developed, by a team in Uganda. So this is not far from us. It's already happening. So if you're an investor and you want to support these young people and talent, they're available. And there's already demand, especially now that we have education systems spread across the country.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Two more questions, and you addressed the issue of internet access getting 20 gigabytes per gigabytes per second, and but the issue of redundant power in these hubs and other places. How are you working with that, with government, to make sure that we have redundant power? Because that's the second issue, infrastructure issue that most people talk about, that if you're going to connect, if you're going to have this digital economy, you cannot have brownouts in these places. How are we addressing that?
Well, first of all, like you probably may know that one way to address power, especially for data centers and all, is to have industry zones and places where you can guarantee that if this place, and that is a model that's developed across the world, where you have specific zones of where you have big data centers and all, and you have dedicated electricity or energy that is supplied to these places at subsidized rates and all. And there is Uganda has policies around free zone and industry to attract people who want to set up this in those demarcated area, because it is easier to negotiate with energy companies, subsidized rates in there than if you're spread all over the coast. So yes, the Ministry of ICT and its government agencies are engaging with the Ministry of Energy, together with the different service providers, to see how we can progressively address this issue of energy, and as we develop our policies to ensure that that is covered. Because true, like you said, especially in AI, energy guzzling, and even now there are going to be issues of water and cooling all come into play. So as the government is developing its national AI strategy, those are some of the things and policies that then will have to come into place to ensure that the issues of energy are also addressed, as it's one of the key critical factors if we are going to leverage the potential around AI.
And this is my last question. You've answered most of them. Thank you. If you were advising a Ugandan living in London, Dubai, Toronto, Washington today, where would you recommend they invest in Uganda's digital economy? You might have talked a little bit about it, but this was specific, and a specific closing question.
Okay. Yeah, so, well, first of all, a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but I'm sure people hire those. But just based on what the studies we have seen and where we are seeing the opportunities, one of the lower risk entry points is with the business process outsourcing and digital services. This is supported, like I mentioned, by already what is being reported, but also by government policy. So that is one of the areas that you can plug in. The other is the fintech. It's Uganda's fastest growing digital market, where market data is really compelling and the statistics are there. When you see the value of mobile money transaction and how it has increased all over the years, it's not going away. So that is also another area that we can look at. Agriculture and technology meets Uganda's largest economic sector. So already agriculture is one of you already see it's highlighted in the sectors which government is looking to have a tenfold growth. So going into agri-tech and enabling, you are talking, even in your examples, you are talking about farmers, market access, supply chain efficiency. And even in all this, you can infuse in all other aspects. For example, just how the delivery, the distribution networks, you can, for example, infuse in issues of electric e-mobility in some of these. So there's a lot that can happen in there. We have government co-investment and innovation platforms. This is still an untapped ecosystem, innovation ecosystem, working with universities, startups, to really, whether you're coming in as venture capitalists or the other, or connecting them as accelerators. We already have existing models. I know the Ministry of ICT has worked with Japan to enable accelerators and enable business matching of startups. NSSF, the National Social Security Fund, has, for example, a high innovator program. And so that is also another area. Then we also, just to know that there are investment incentives and structuring considerations, which are under the Investment Code Act 2019. Ugandan citizens, including members of the diaspora, can qualify for investment incentives with a minimum capital investment of US $50,000 compared to $250K dollars for foreign investors. So that is also something to consider when you come in as a Ugandan citizen and the diaspora, that there is an incentive there. And also, of course, in conclusion, what I would say that, yeah, business processing and digital services first, fintech, agri-tech, and all these three sectors would be to avoid investing in isolation. So you need to be able to, right now with government pushing its own services online and delivery, they become also an opportunity for you to see how to partner with government. So where you can have public-private partnerships, that is encouraged, where you can leverage existing platforms, that is also encouraged. Trusted local partners, so combining diaspora capital with international experience, the technology transfer, the mentorship, and the networks that the diaspora has, together with the local knowledge and expertise, presents good value. And I hope that will then enable the diaspora to invest and begin counting themselves on the stock markets, whether in Uganda or internationally. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Mjimba. Please don't go away. We might have some additional questions for you, and we have some people online as well who will be sending in questions. But allow me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be calling on Hajat Engineer Hamida Chividige. Hajat Hamida Chividige is a Ugandan information. She's the head of ICT department, State House, Uganda. She has been coordinating this effort, and she has done a marvelous job coordinating all of us, from coast to coast. Hajat Hamida Chividige is a Ugandan information communication technology ICT professional serving in the State House of Uganda, where she is SPA/ICT and also head of ICT department. In her current role, she provides leadership in the planning, development, implementation, and management of ICT systems that support State House operations and strategic government digital initiatives. She has been publicly recognized for supervising the development of advanced digital platforms designed to enhance government technology solutions, data management, monitoring, and reporting. Under her supervision, the State House ICT department has collaborated with government departments and agencies to develop technology-driven systems for monitoring government programs and strengthening digital service delivery. As head of ICT State House, Hajat Hamida Chividige oversees the deployment of secure digital infrastructure, system integration, information management, and ICT innovation to improve operation efficiency across State House supported programs. Her work contributes to Uganda's broader digital transformation agenda through the adoption of modern information technologies. Her leadership is associated with promoting the user of digital solutions to improve transparency, accountability, real-time reporting, and evidence-based decision-making within government operations. She does it all, and we welcome her to this series. Ajit, tell us what your day is like and what you're aiming for.
Yes. Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to all our attendees today. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are, and we wish you all good deliberations on these platforms. First of all, I would like to start. They've already introduced me, so I'll just go straight into it. I would like to start by thanking the head of the State House Diaspora Unit, Mr. Mohamed Bagonza, for setting up, and his team for setting up this. Education in the diaspora is due to lack of information. And wherever you are, by the way, I'm formerly diaspora, and I will always still say, like the first speaker said, we are all diaspora at some point or not. Engineer Mjimba said that we are all diaspora at some point on. So I've been in diaspora, I've lived in the diaspora, I've worked in the diaspora before I came back to Uganda. So it's important we credit this initiative to the State House Diaspora Unit. So I'd also like to welcome all of you from the government of Uganda for the support you give to our president and State House generally. I would like to thank all the departments and agencies, our esteemed panelists, members of the Ugandan diaspora from across the world. You're all welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So I would like to welcome you to this edition of the State House Diaspora Engagement webinar series. And let us be involved. This is our country. No one is going to change it for us. Personally, when I came back, I am both government, I am within the private sector. There are a lot of people involved because I will say this, the Baganda say, Oktambula kulaba, okudda kunyumya. And kunyumya involves implementation or bringing up solutions, solutions that will improve the well-being of our country, our people. So simple solutions. And I think this is where we as diaspora or former diaspora people come in to, because you see a lot more than people here. So Uganda currently is undergoing a remarkable digital transformation under the leadership of His Excellency, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The government has continued to prioritize information and communication technology as a key driver of socio-economic transformation. Significant investments have been made in expanding digital infrastructure. The first panelist has already given you very good ideas and information into this. Strengthening e-government services, improving connectivity, promoting innovation, and building digital skills among our citizens. Once you do this, you might live abroad, but you will reap the benefits, because then you will stop complaining of bad service delivery. Be part of the journey and say, be part of the journey and say that this is what I have contributed. Because when we complain, we do not get the solution. Because I could have sat back as well and complained, but I became part of the solution. So today, ICT is no longer simply a support service. It is an enabler of economic growth, efficient public service delivery, education, healthcare, agriculture, financial inclusion, international trade. Government continues to promote digital solutions that improve transparency, efficiency, and access to services for all Ugandans. For many of you that are in the diaspora, they've given you an example of mobile money. You can literally do anything with mobile money here. You can pay for your family, you can send them money, you can pay for their services, you can pay their bills, you can pay your children's school fees, you can receive detailed reports on everything that's happening because of the digitalization of our economy that's going on right now. So artificial intelligence is equally emerging as one of the most transformative technologies of our time. AI presents enormous opportunities in agriculture, in healthcare, through improved diagnostics. You can, if you help us develop these apps, you can actually become a solution to part of the diagnostics problems we have in our healthcare, or improve on the diagnostics, because you can remotely be able to help in the health industry. Agriculture, you can come in precision farming, in education through personalized learning, financial services through intelligent systems, and public administration through data-driven decision-making. Uganda is positioning itself to embrace these emerging technologies responsibly while creating an enabling environment for innovation and investment. To all our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, you're not only our ambassadors, but also valuable partners in our country's development. Your knowledge, experience, professional networks, and investments are critical assets that can accelerate Uganda's digital transformation. We encourage you to explore opportunities in ICT and artificial intelligence by investing in technology startups, supporting those that are in the startups, digital infrastructure, software development, business process outsourcing, innovation hubs, research collaborations, digital skills development, technology-enabled enterprises. We have a very young, talented population, and I can attest to that. I have seen a lot of solutions that have been developed by our young people, and they are doing incredible things. They are looking for partners like you because they have the knowledge, they have the skills, but sometimes they don't have the finance, or sometimes they just need that extra support to improve on what they have developed, to give them an insight into what's happening outside this country. So you're partners in that. So we invite you to mentor these young innovators, transfer knowledge, establish partnerships with local institutions. We have our universities, we have our skilling hubs. The skilling hubs they've done a tremendous job. But obviously, if we bring in the digital, then you're supporting the rural people to be able to join the digital economy, because that is what will make them and help them make money, create jobs for them. So the State House Diaspora Unit remains an important bridge between government and Ugandans living abroad, ensuring that opportunities, information, and partnerships continue to flow in both directions. Together, and build a prosperous and digitally empowered Uganda. So I encourage all of you to participate, ask questions, share ideas, even away from this webinar. The Diaspora Unit is available 24/7, and the enabling technology that will enable us have constant communication back and forth. So we want to take advantage of all the expertise that you have gained out there. Not only the expertise, we also want to encourage you to come and invest, because you always need a side hustle. So there are a lot of opportunities that are going to be discussed by our panelists. So please engage and give us feedback and be part of this journey. We've been part of, I'll give us a quick story. When I came back from the UK after studying, I came here and I realized that computers were really expensive then, before you had all these Chinese and Indian stores come in and bring this cheap technology. So what did I do? I used to import parts. I would carry them on myself. I did not import them. I would carry them on myself when I traveled to the UK, to the US. And I was assembling computers in my mom's sitting room and garage. And I can tell you that was part of the first capital that enabled me to do a lot of the projects that I'm doing now. I assembled them in the sitting room. I took over her sitting room. I took over her garage. When she had guests, I had to move my stuff. And then I sold part of the computers that were used by the first universities, KIU, Kampala University. I was the supplier. So there are a lot of little opportunities. They talked about digital addressing, delivery, health. There's no reason why, if we develop systems, why I would have to fly to India when I know that if I do a scan, I have someone that can interpret it and also guide the lab assistant that is doing it. Or, there are a lot of things. So please join this discussion. And most importantly, love your country. Because if you love your country, then you will build it. You cannot say that someone's home is better if you don't want. You want to make your home as good as that home that you have found somewhere else. And we are here to support you. We are here to support whatever ideas you bring. We are a team. So please, let's engage. Let's develop our country. Let's digitize our country. Enjoy the discussions today. I'm online if you have any questions. I would like to thank our panelists for giving in the time. Mr. Tendo, thank you for taking on the mantle at short notice. We welcome all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hajat. I have a question for you before you leave. It's online here. Quick question. Says Hajat Hamida Chivilige, are we considering the use of blockchain technology to increase transparency and reduce corruption in the public and private sectors? Thank you.
Yes, that is a journey that we have started. Right now, we are using blockchain technology within the Ministry of Lands to digitize the land titles and be able to, because I think part of the biggest issue that there's people have had is whatever way you call it. So yes, blockchain support, because obviously we have the general idea, but we need the expertise to make it, take it to the level that we want it to be at. Yes, but blockchain technology is here and we are trying.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Adish, and for the work that you do. It's just amazing how, and just for
And just
all
to
the
add,
people who are
we have
listening.
a
Go
lot,
ahead.
we have a, just to add, Mr. Tendo,
Go ahead.
just to add, we have a very young population here that is skilled and very innovative. So if you want, reach out to us. We can connect you to some of them and see how you build these partnerships that will take us to the next level. And also be that side has to make a difference to your country and make a difference to your bank account. So please reach out to us. We have them. They have very good ideas. They just need someone to have people to handhold them.
Oh,
thank you.
That's a great message. Thank you so much, Hamida. Just to let folks know that the industry is a $16 trillion industry. And with that, no amount of oil that we have or no amount of cash crops we can sell that can, that might bring revenue. And it's growing. So we really need to embrace it. And it has helped, the US at least make lots of money, especially people who are in rural areas, like you've heard from Hajati and Engineer Mujimba, that getting somebody from a rural area to go in and start selling their stuff, whether they're a material, a dressmaker or a cookie maker, just being able to go to that platform and sell your product, globally, is a wonderful thing. Allow me to invite other panelists as well. We have an array of panelists who are going to be speaking to us regarding this digital economy. And allow me to introduce another panelist. Let me get my stuff here. who is going to be speaking to us. And Augustine, yes, Augustine. Here we go. Let me get Augustine 𝐔𝐠𝐚𝐧𝐝. Augustine 𝐔𝐠𝐚 is, oh, the host is spotlighted. Augustine 𝐔𝐠𝐚 is a senior business analyst working with National Information Technology Authority, NITAU, with 12 years of practical experience in IT project management, a member of the National Financial Inclusion Strategy NFIS implementation team for Uganda, has interfaced with a number of IT sector innovators, facilitators, BPO ITs, providers, e-commerce firms, and policymakers, and therefore has a vast experience as far as the digital landscape for Uganda is concerned. And he comes, he's a senior business analyst, and he's going to talk about the business aspect of things and how we can build that ecosystem that everybody has been talking about. So, Augustine 𝐔𝐚𝐧𝐝, sir, take us to your train.
Thank you very much, the moderator. A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whoever is joined in, wherever you are. Yes, Augustine is indeed my name. I work with the National Information Technology Authority. I know there could be some people who have joined, but do not, like they're hearing about the National Information Technology Authority for the first time. National Information Technology Authority Uganda, or NITAU, is under the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, and our role can be summarized in two. That one, we regulate the IT sector, but we also provide critical IT infrastructure to government establishments. There's quite a lot that we're doing to transform our economy, to transform our country digitally. Like I've said, we are providing key infrastructure, the national backbone infrastructure. We are providing shared services, shared infrastructure. You could have heard of the UG Hub. UG Hub is a data and application integration platform. We have the digital authentication and e-signatures platform. All these are shared infrastructure. We have shared services like the e-commerce platform for the crafts and souvenirs producers and sellers. I will speak to this as we dive into the discussion.
Oh, fantastic. Because we want to know how we would get all these digital certificates that we'll be using as we do. So there's a couple of questions that have come from various sources. One is that NITAU is leading Uganda's digital transformation agenda. Could you explain how digital government is creating investment opportunities?
Thank you very much. Indeed, the digital government is creating opportunities for the private sector, including the diaspora. They are not excluded. Every investment that government is putting in digital infrastructure, digital services, partly is aimed at creating innovations, investments, jobs, and exportation of digital services. So there's quite a lot that these investments are put up in terms of creating opportunities. For instance, the more government invests in digital government, services become simpler to access. For instance, somebody can register a business wherever they are, they can apply for permits, they can make tax payments, access any government service online. So the diaspora community wouldn't need to come over to Uganda to start a business, for instance. That is an opportunity that could be exploited, that wherever you are, you can start a company, you can register a business, and then begin to reap benefits. Besides, digital government also It creates other opportunities, directly and indirectly. For instance, when government puts its services online, e-procurement, e-tax, e-immigration, digital licensing, electronic payments, digital records management, there are opportunities that are open that investors can tap in, then the diaspora community can take advantage of. For instance, developing software solutions, cyber security services, cloud applications, system integration services, artificial intelligence solutions, digital payment platforms. Because when these services are put online, then the private sector or any other stakeholder that is making use of them sometimes need other services to be able to fully utilize the government services. Even the government is a consumer of the services I've listed. So if the investors, if the diaspora community positions itself to take advantage of this, it would be a beautiful thing. So precisely, there are opportunities that are created. I will sing out others. Business process outsourcing. The previous speakers have hinted on it, but it is an open opportunity. Business process outsourcing. If somebody is an expert, if somebody is a specialist, if they are IT specialists, for instance, they could also tap into knowledge process outsourcing. I've seen countries make a killing out of this, India being one of it. Uganda can also do the same. So we are looking to the diaspora community for us to have such things exploited. Digital payment integrations, artificial intelligence and data analytics. Almost every business establishment needs data analytics to be able to track KPIs, to be able to track their performance and also see where to step in. Digital skills training. These are all open opportunities that come as a result of the digital, investment in digital government.
I notice you're in a position that straddles business and government as well. When I speak to doctors at Mulago Hospital, they tell me that they have all these systems that don't talk to each other. Is there a plan? Because you talked about that India model for their marketing and other things that they were able to do to share APIs and so forth. Is there an effort in talking to vendors who come to sell to Ugandans or to Uganda, to the Uganda government, the fact that we want to have like common APIs that we can use, for instance, in healthcare, in and other government sectors, so that we can have common APIs that we can take advantage of, so that systems can speak to each other. Otherwise, every system will work on its own. And as you know, in healthcare, this concept of longitudinal medical data is big, and it looms large, and it becomes very helpful if you can put systems, if systems can talk to each other, and not only locally in, say, Mbara Hospital, Makerere Hospital, Mulago Hospital, but also these hospitals should be able to communicate to Gulu Hospital. If I'm traveling to Gulu and I have an issue, somebody should be able to pull up my number, or my Ndegamuntu number, and say, yeah, this person has these issues and he's been seen by doctors from one place to the other. And on that note, I also wanted to ask you what you are doing in terms of private health information, making sure it's protected. I know that there are rules. We have so many laws now that are protecting data, but are they being enforced? Since you are also in that space of working with government and vendors.
Thank you so much. It's a actually very intriguing question. As INITA, not only do we desire or want to see government where data is freely accessible, where data can be shared across government, because we know when you unlock the potential that is within data, you're creating opportunities as well. So it is very key in all our undertakings, and we're addressing it at two fronts. The first front is creating a framework for it to happen, and then the second one is putting practical platforms or solutions that government can leverage to ensure that systems can interoperate, systems can speak to each other, and data can be shared. In terms of the regulatory front, we have put in place a government interoperability framework, which guides government systems. So any ministry, department, or agency of government, including local government, as they are doing any digital platforms or systems, they have to adhere to that blueprint, that framework, because it tells you how you should structure your data, how you're going to naming of specific field of data. So all that is contained within the framework. Then we have the government enterprise architecture, which also addresses the architectural issues, architectural aspects of the system that you're going to put in place. So with this combination, we expect that systems that government, ministries, departments, and agencies are putting in place, whether they are the consultants from India, or the consultant is here, or a member of the diaspora, the systems are able to talk to each other and they can share data. Now, from the practical point, in terms of the platforms, we have also put in place the Data and Application Integration Platform, which is popularly known as the UG Hub. UG Hub was deliberately selected as the name because it brings together the whole government, because it is where it is a point of data exchange. A system like National Security Information System, which you popularly know as National ID System, can share that data to support operations of another MDA, for instance, Uganda Revenue Authority, in registering taxpayers. It can share data to support verification of customers by banks, by any financial institution, which we call eKYC. So this platform is, as I've explained, is a way to unlock potential that is within data, such that a client or a person or a Ugandan, as they interface with these various agencies, they do not have to be fatigued providing the same information that has been provided before. But also, in this data sharing, we want to create opportunities for people to build the services on top of the data that's being shared. Yes. Now, regarding the privacy bit, as the diaspora community may not know, or they may be in the know, that NITA is the custodian of the data protection law. Under NITA, there is an independent office called the Data Protection Office, which is charged with the administration of that law. It is in charge of ensuring that the data protection law and regulations thereof is administered, is enforced. Part of what it does, it registers data collectors, data processors, and data custodians. So by registering them, they ensure that before this is registered and is allowed to do what they do with the data, they meet specific aspects as dictated or as provided for in the law. So at that front, please be certain, be sure that the data or NITA Uganda is handling this.
Now, do you know whether they have encrypted databases? Are they using encryption at all?
One of the things that we're looking out for before this independent office I'm talking about, the Data Protection Office, before they register an entity that processes data, that keeps data as a custodian, they do an assessment. to ensure that there are specific standards that that particular processor or that particular custodian of data meets. For instance, they would ensure this data is encrypted not only at rest but also in transit. Because if that is not achieved, there would be fear that data could be lost at any point. But this happens.
Especially
Yes.
since we're going to be using satellites, it is so important that we find ways of encrypting that these back and forth messages through that are going to go to the satellite because they can be intercepted. So, oh, that's fantastic. There's a question from our users here. Hello, Mr. Sechondwa. Can bids and contracts through NITA-U be easily accessible? Also, could there be a reliable vetting process for applicants?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm not a procurement specialist, but at least being part of NITA and also having gone through the processes that NITA undertakes in its procurement, at least I have some clue. Yes, I know that these bids, depending on the law that relates to that particular procurement, for instance, some of the procurements are based on the procurement regulations and law of PPDA. PPDA is Public Procurement and Disposal of Public Assets Authority. But there are some instances where the projects being implemented, where the procurement is being done, are basically World Bank funded. So in each of these cases, depending on the nature of the procurement that's going to be initiated, whether it is open bidding, whether it's going to be closed bidding, whether it's going to be the laws, these bids are opened up as per the method selected. For instance, if it is international bidding, we will publicize, we will make this bid accessible on our platform, on our website. We make it accessible on World Bank website, and we ensure that this is open to whoever wants to participate, because that is what it means for you to do an international procurement. If it is open but national, we also do the same. We publish this in papers. We also open this on our website. So I would implore the diaspora community, I would implore this person who has raised the question to keep checking for this. But there is also bids that relate to geo source of funds, where we also get this on the e-procurement platform, the e-procurement website. So you can keep checking on these platforms. Wherever there is something, you participate. NITA-U is very open and transparent in its procurement processes. There is nothing like this cannot participate. As long as you meet the requirements and you're eligible, you will participate. And the chances of you taking on that work are equally the same. So that is how far we are transparent in our procurement.
Oh, fantastic. But your biggest aim is to make sure that they're e-forms. We don't fill out these forms by hand anymore. And these signatures, you talked about, the certificates are available, that people can do e-signing. So these are all platforms that are in place currently and are being used in the country. Just like you talked about e-court, which is such a wonderful thing. One of the only issues that I have with e-court is that, it seems like, some of the documents can disappear and you need to tighten the work around that so that there's just a few people who can go and update the system. It's so important. But another question I have for you is business processing outsourcing. And this is the third question because you answered the other one. The business processing to everyone. Business process business process outsourcing is becoming a significant source of employment globally. How prepared is Uganda to become Africa's preferred business process outsourcing? Now, in outsourcing, we have to be very careful because there are concepts of annotation processing where you just technical support processing. We want to go beyond that so that we can also have these folks who are developers and more advanced, so that they can do more advanced work in IT. Is there a plan in place that won't keep us with these low jobs in this business process outsourcing so that we can also outsource like Sri Lanka has and other places where we're not competing for just technical support, but we're also competing for higher jobs that pay more money to our people who are to our professionals? Is there a plan in place that says we're going to train these university students and we want to train them in such a way that they can go out there just like India does and bring in lots of dollars?
Thank you so much. When we talk about this business outsourcing to Uganda, it's not a new thing. It is actually something that's happening. We just need to call upon people to take advantage of it because it is not something starting, it's something that is already started. Business outsourcing, depending on the angle you're approaching it, there is business outsourcing in other sectors besides IT. I will largely speak to the IT-enabled services, business outsourcing for IT-enabled services. For instance, call centers, data capturing. This is already happening. All that we would say is that the business community positions themselves either by setting up the firms here or partner with firms that are already doing this outsourcing. Globally, BPO is a very serious industry. It is actually valued at over $300 billion and continues to grow globally. In Uganda, there are quite a number of opportunities for business process outsourcing. For instance, it could be done in software engineering, digital health services, financial technology support, AI-enabled services, data annotations. So for machine learning, these are all opportunities that are open, that our people in the diaspora, that any other investor that they come by can leverage and push. How prepared is Uganda for this? Like I've said, it is not a new thing. The preparation has been here for, I think, the last 7 to 10 years. We have a policy, a fully-fledged policy for business process outsourcing. We have incentives that we have put in place for BPO firms. For instance, the BPO firms that are operating in Uganda and they're providing IT-enabled services, as UNITA, we provide them internet at half the cost. If the MDAs are paying 70 and then you set up a BPO in IT-enabled services, you will be paying $30 per Mbps. So these are incentives that we put in place. But also, the investment that government has done, for instance, in the NBI, which we've been talking about, these are the shared platforms, UG Hub, digital authentication and e-signature, all these could be leveraged to promote BPO. So, for instance, you can leverage, let me use the UG Hub. There is a service for electronic know your customer, which can be done leveraging the national ID data. So for you,
Organization.
you can set up a service for eKYC, and then banks outsource that service from you and any other establishments. Authentication as a service. You're leveraging the infrastructure that is already there, the services that have been exposed by government for you to do business. So all this is there. I want to interest myself, I would want to interest our audience to this, that just like how previous speakers have alluded to this, that Uganda uniquely is advantaged in terms of BPO. For instance, our labor costs, office space, utilities, business operating costs remain significantly low compared to other government establishments or other jurisdictions. The diaspora community, I know, will attest to this. So setting up a BPO firm here is much more simpler than doing it elsewhere. We are blessed that, again, our people can speak very good English. They can also transcribe, they can capture, for instance, if they are going to do data entry, they can do it with very good English. If they are providing call center services, all these they can do it, and there are very many, quite a number. There are quite a number of countries that would want to tap into this English that we do. So as I wind up on this one, there are quite a lot that we can do with the BPO. Opportunities like customer support and multilingual contact center services, software development and application maintenance, artificial intelligence and data annotations, finance and accounting outsourcing, medical transcriptions, legal, digital marketing, cyber security operations, business analysis and data management. All these are waiting. What is our plea to the diaspora community is that they have interacted with quite a number of specialists. They have connections. We know there is a lot of network that have built over time. Leverage that network to either single-handedly come and set up, or entice somebody to partner with you and then you come and set up, or you choosing to come and partner with the people already setting up and the thing picks up. Thank you.
And just to let our audience know that we have a strategic time zone that allows our tech sector to execute overnight operations for Asia, collaborate in real time with Europe, and support North America 24/7. And that's so important. But please allow me to welcome our leader here, Mr. the State House, the presidential advisor and head of State House Diaspora Unit, Mr. Mohamed Bagonza. Welcome to this sixth session of engaging the diaspora and the rest of Ugandan community in ICT. I think he's on mute. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Oh, yes, Mr. Tendo.
Yes.
Thank you very much for moderating this panel of today. And I'm happy that our host, Hajat Hamida, has done it very well. I do not want to talk today. I'm also at the listening side. I'm trying to understand and pick these good ideas with our diaspora team. Otherwise, thank you very much. I wish you best deliberation tonight.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Sechandra, this is my last question that I have for you, and because you've answered most of these, can Ugandans living abroad establish BPO companies? You talked about that in Uganda while serving clients in Europe, North America, and the Middle East. I think you pretty much answered that, because setting up a BPO from externally is possible. That's what you said. And one question that was being asked, and maybe we'll come back to it later when all the panelists have finished speaking, It has to do with can Ugandan citizens' data be stored on cloud in regions like North America? Because this is where we have the cloud that is persistent, and even governments here have have to go to the cloud because their on-premise stuff doesn't work really well, so they've opted out to set up a government cloud that many, including attorney generals and other people who are using the cloud. Can we use the cloud as it is, because we only have several cloud vendors here in the United States? And do we have an opportunity here to build our own cloud, where people can, the entire East African community can look at a Ugandan cloud and say, you take it to the Ugandan cloud. They have the servers, they have the power, they have the bandwidth. Is it something that's, that you're looking at, or is it something that NITA is trying to do?
Thank you so much. Before I address this, now that I have the platform, I would also want to implore the community, the diaspora community, that NITA has developed a platform which we are calling the e-commerce platform for the crafts and souvenirs industry. Now, this seeks to enable producers and sellers of crafts and souvenirs to take advantage of the global market. A person in the diaspora can actually exploit this one. It's a low-hanging fruit that you can sell crafts and souvenirs to the diaspora community, to your fellow people who are there. Today, actually, I'm from mobilizing for this platform. I've been speaking to producers of crafts here, that you see there are some Ugandans who are in Sweden, Ugandans in Boston, Ugandans in London. They organize functions, Kwanjula, Kuchala, and they want to do it the traditional way, as though they were here. They want baskets, bibo, they want kanzu, they want all such things. Now, this platform is putting up these items for sale. A person in the diaspora can organize, make an arrangement to buy, to work with the producer here. They manage their shop online, and then they sell using this platform. It is a low-hanging fruit. So other details we can interact maybe. Now,
Fantastic.
going to the question of the cloud computing.
Yes.
Which you've put to me as the last question. Cloud computing is actually everyone's concern. We would so much want to host our data within the boundaries, especially if it's personal data. On several occasions, a question has been put to us as NITA, that does the law prohibit people from hosting data that is personal in a public cloud, maybe a cloud in California, wherever? The law is very clear, the data protection law, that a person who wants to host data in a public cloud, which is not within the boundaries of Uganda, they have to apply to the Data Protection Office, such that the office assesses the conditions that exist in that environment where this data is intended to be hosted. Note that the law prohibits completely hosting that data there. So as long as there are measures that are equivalent to what the law provides for here, then somebody can host that data there. That notwithstanding, we are also looking at doing our own cloud infrastructure within the East African region, within the African continent. Personally, I was privileged to be part of those who negotiated the Digital Trade Protocol, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Digital Trade Protocol. This one seeks to improve digital trade amongst African countries. Now, Uganda being one of it. I'm also privy to the discussions that are happening at the EAC level, because I'm a member of the e-commerce engagement platform at the regional level. we've put a lot of emphasis in all this, that we need to do our own infrastructure, cloud infrastructure. Why? Because every nation is so, every state party at continental level, every member state at the ES level, they would want to see us having this infrastructure within our regions. One, to ensure that it aligns very well with our laws, where we would so much be comfortable to see our personal data kept within the boundaries. But also, this is investment that is going to create more opportunities. Why are we spending money and give it to somebody somewhere in China? Why don't we get that money for ourselves? Why can't the diaspora community, if they cannot take it on their own, pay from the connections that they have, from the network that they have built for the time they have stayed in the diaspora, get investors to come and set up here, because that is the direction that we have decided for our nation, that we have decided for our region, that we have decided for the continent Africa. There's no doubt about that. Thank you.
Now, just before the cloud became big, there were places where you could be hosted, and maybe we could start with that, build, data centers that are not in the cloud, but would, people would have access to them, and it'd be like the cloud. Now, the last question that I have, and this is from me, it has to do with open source resources and the abundance of that. And, it's a good thing, segue from the fact that the person who asked that question about going to the cloud, because most of this AI training and other things are veiled by companies like Google and Oracle and so forth, where they've built platforms where you can go and test your neural networks, where you can go and test your large language models, where you can go and do this. But also, we want to take advantage of these open source resources so that the government, we don't have a lot of money as maybe when our oil money comes will be great. But what savings have you realized in utilizing these open source resources, which are very good, and companies like Apple are using these open source resources? So if big companies, which are so rich, richer than our nations, can use them, are we taking advantage of them ourselves?
Thank you. Just like we have just talked about cloud infrastructure, even open source technology is actually the way to go for every nation that looks at maintainability of digital platforms, that looks at saving in terms of the expenditure that you're making, in terms of acquisition and again maintenance, sustainability generally. Open source technology is the way to go. We've had quite a number of candid discussions within the industry. We, as the regulator of IT, along with our line ministry, the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, we have had candid discussions over open source technology, and we have popularized it amongst all MDAs. In fact, as NITA, when an MDA is a ministry, department, or agency of government, when they are seeking to procure a digital platform, a system of sorts, there's a process that they go through where we have to look through their requirements and things like that. One of the things we look out for is the technology that somebody is going to procure or to use as they set up. We so much want to see open source technology because of the advantages of maintainability, sustainability, but also that opportunity of giving our people the advantage of building on the pool of skills, the pool of knowledge that the open source community is putting up. You see, it is also a bit of knowledge transfer. It is also capacity building. in essence. But what is most important is that open source comes with the maintainability, it comes with sustainability, and that is what we are looking at. As INITA, open source technology. In fact, when you look at most of the platforms we have put up, that I'm talking about, the UG Hub, they are built on open source technologies for purposes of sustainability, for purposes of enabling our people to be able to easily build on top of it without any constraints. Somebody tells you if you add these users, the licenses will be this much. But that is not where we want to take the government, our nation, no. So yes, have we taken advantage of it? Definitely we've.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Sechondwa. You've been fantastic in the way you answered all these questions. And please don't stay around so that we can, have a Q&A session later. For those of you who are listening from the diaspora and other places, we will have a Q&A session. We still have one more panelist who is going to be speaking to us. And I would like to give me an opportunity to invite Tony Bossa, Manager, Business Transformation, National Information Technology Authority. And Tony Bossa is a highly skilled digital transformation and ICT profession with over 15 years of experience in information technology, software development, enterprise systems, and digital government transformation. He holds both a bachelor's and master's degree in computer science from Makerere University, your own university. Uganda, he is also a certified project management profession, PMP, certified information security manager, 𝐔𝐠𝐚, and information technology infrastructure library professional. Tony currently serves as manager, business transformation at the National Information Technology Authority, NITAU, where he leads strategic initiatives that modernize government operations, strengthen interoperability, and improve technology, enabled public service delivery. He has extensive experience and he is here with us. Tony, take us to your realm.
Thank you so much. Moderator, and I want to thank the State House Diaspora Unit for the opportunity to come and engage with the Ugandans living abroad, to come and talk about this very important subject of Uganda's digital economy, focusing on ICT investment by the Ugandans in diaspora. For starters, Uganda has in the recent past invested heavily in digital transformation agenda, which has aimed at accelerating the socio-economic development through secure and inclusive innovative digital technologies, which have helped to ease business, the way we do business in government, reduce cost of doing business, cut out the red tapes and corruption that was on another scale, which we have put to a control in the recent past. And the colleagues who are in the diaspora, I have the confidence to tell you that most of the services that you require for you to get into business or investment in Uganda are all automated from the comfort of your home. You can incorporate a company here in Uganda. You can get registered with the URA to get a tax number, a TIN, get trading license from KCCA or another local government, and you're up to do business at your comfort without going through long queues, extended delays, and all those have been made possible because of the deliberate investment by government in digitization of the different services. Very important to mention, even other services that relate to the citizen, a number of them are heavily well automated, from passports to driving license. There is something that I usually tell people, maybe people in the diaspora, you can tell us. In Uganda, currently, it takes 30 minutes from the time you walk into the facility where we process driving permit from. You make an application, you pay online, and then you move out with a physical driving license in 30 minutes. I'm looking for a country which is doing better than that. We shall beat it, certainly. Thank you.
Not even here. Not even here. So we have a few questions for you. Artificial intelligence is transforming economies worldwide. What is Uganda's strategy for AI adoption? But many panelists have answered that. Maybe we should go to another one, which is which sector of Uganda's economy are expected to benefit most from AI? That also has been addressed, but you can kind of summarize some of those, and then the other one that we have is how can Ugandans in the diaspora build AI business that solve Ugandan challenges? That's a good one because you're a developer, and you can tell us a little bit as to what your environment is like there, being a developer in Uganda today.
In Uganda, the environment ICT sector is really virgin. There's quite a lot that is still desired to be done. The first thing is that government has put up the enabling environment. We have done a lot in the policy direction, putting up the relevant laws and regulations to streamline governance and many other aspects, such that we have an environment where we can operate from. Then the opportunities are quite a number. I don't want the colleagues from the diaspora to only look at government, what they can do for government. Even in the private sector, the opportunities are so many that are being brought out by the enabling environment that government is putting in place. For example, we are looking at this new wave of emerging technologies in AI and other blockchain. Somebody talked about blockchain here. So those are still fertile grounds, even to incubate in the private sector, to try them out, and then we see how possible they are transforming the private sector. We are seeing a number of products coming on market. We are seeing on the fly micro lenders coming on market that can give credit, extended credit facilities easily to their customers. We are seeing banks coming up with very innovative products that do not require a person to go to a banking hall. I don't know when I last went to a banking hall. So we are seeing a number of many other opportunities that are all coming up that the private sector can come and heavily invest in Uganda, in form of coming up with, registering and incorporating ICT companies that offer a number of ICT-related products ranging from cybersecurity. Still also a good virgin area. Training, we want a lot of highly specialized training in security, in artificial intelligence, in governance, in project management. It's still also an open area. We are doing most of these. For example, I think a number of certifications, we don't even have enough training facilities or enough training centers in Uganda. We end up either running to Kenya, where there is maybe a center, or you go to Dubai. So there are still also opportunities there that we can tap in as a country. We have a new monster we are calling data protection and privacy. It is something which is relatively new, and there is a lot of opportunities there in terms of supporting entities, first of all, to understand and appreciate why this has come up and how to fall within the guidelines that government is putting up. Still, all those are open opportunities for people in diaspora to come and explore. Then infrastructure. Yes, government has done a lot in infrastructure. A colleague from UCC talked a little more about it. We have laid fiber to a greater part of the country. We have a lot of capacity, of which in some parts of the country, it is not fully 100% utilized. So you guys who are in the diaspora, the opportunities here. Under the broadband policy strategy, you have the opportunity even to come and utilize some of the infrastructure that government has put up to extend services to the last person that is sitting up there in the rural areas by coming up with innovative products and services that can benefit the common person, but as well also benefiting you also benefiting from them. Then on the side of government, like I said, still even in government, the opportunities are still there. At times, it pains me, but still I'll talk about it. When we have to push out tenders, and only you realize many Ugandan indigenous local farms are not faring well. So if you're in diaspora and you have what it takes, please come back home. You invest in the sector, maybe you'll stand better chances of favorably competing. We have even put a waiver under the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance for Ugandan indigenous local companies for you to favorably come and compete in providing ICT products and services to government. So the opportunities are quite a number, yes, and we are waiting for you. Come back home. And the good thing is with IT and technology, you can be based anywhere and still operate from Uganda here because we have made it possible for you.
And how do we know? Because you have a lot of experts in the diaspora, in databases, in programming, in what. And how do you let us know that, hey, how does government, I guess it's a bigger, wider question for the entire panel, that we need this? Is that, do you know anybody who can design this for us, so that we can take advantage of that? Because, building an HCM application or an application that would help in the hospitals it may not be such a Herculean task, as for many people in the diaspora who have been working with these technologies for a long time. Yet they can build it with the spirit of not charging the government a lot of money, but with the spirit of helping out at home as well. So is there something in place where we can go and say, go to this website, you'll find all our bids, all the things that we're looking for?
Yes, my colleague Augustine talked about the EGP. EGP is e-government procurement portal. So on that portal, we publicize all. We have connected all government entities on it. So every procuring entity, every government entity, be it mainstream government, autonomous agencies like NITAU, or local government, we publicize all the tenders there. So team from the diaspora, kindly just get in there, and we usually publicize all of them there on top of running them in the local dailies. But since you are in diaspora, and you may not have access to the latest new vision, you have it on your computer. So that is one avenue. Then another is we are Ugandans. Even if you're in diaspora, you remain a Ugandan. On one rainy day, you end up coming here, and you
have family there.
you interface with government at a particular time T. So we are also more so here at NITAU, we welcome new ideas like this forum we're having, where we are engaging with you. So many times we also engage with different people who have different ideas. They come with because we are all Ugandans. And when you get a service and you feel, no, we can do better or the service is still manual and you think there is something we can do about it, kindly approach us. You can come and then we discuss your plan and your concept, and then we see if it's a viable product that we can take on. We go through the modalities of government to take it on. Just for your information, you even talked about health. In Ministry of Health, there is a solution we are rolling out in a number of health centers and national hospitals called 𝐒𝐴𝐴FIA. This product was, the concept was done by a Ugandan. He came up and was saying, guys, when we go to hospitals, the processes are largely manual, papers after paper, go to this desk, go to this office. He had his prototype. He was able to present and demonstrate the strength of what he wanted to do. So went through the process. And as I speak now, the ministry has already adopted the solution, and we supported him to enhance the solution, and we are rolling it out in a number of health centers. So we have also that avenue where if someone comes up with an idea and it's viable and it's something that we can take on and expand and scale, there is no reason why we cannot support you and put it to a national scale and you profit from it. We don't largely take things for free. You have to profit from your sweat. So there have been such kind of areas where we have supported Ugandans who have brilliant, innovative ideas. There is even a fund under the Ministry of ICT where a number of local indigenous Uganda companies have been supported to come up with good products. A product like OBRS. OBRS is the online business registration. It's entirely done by Uganda local company and many others. So we have also that avenue. You can explore it at any one time.
Oh, fantastic. And we're almost running out of time, but I want to engage all our panelists, and there's a question, there's a few questions
Something
that
small,
are coming from
something small. I don't know whether
Go
you
ahead.
can allow me to talk about data center.
Okay, please go
ahead. Yes, because the colleague talked about data center, and I want to excite our colleagues in diaspora to come. Kindly, there is a huge opportunity in hosting infrastructure in Uganda. Currently, in Uganda, we have only one, if I'm not mistaken. We have only one carrier neutral tier 3 data center, called 𝐔𝐠𝐚𝐽, only one. So this creates an opportunity. As you see, Minister of Finance recently launched the tenfold growth strategy for Uganda in the next 10 years. What does that one mean? That government is going to rapidly expand. That means the private sector will do the same at the same wavelength. So the need for hosting is imminent. We want to host, and we want to host our products locally. IT people, you know, if our products and services are hosted in London or elsewhere, the cost of accessing them is high, the latency is high, the issues of data protection and others come in. So we want to locally host our products and services, but we are still limiting in investment in that area. And Uganda positioned itself as the best country where you can invest in such kind of products. When you look at our geographical position sitting within the region here, we become a good market for Rwanda, Eastern Congo, South Sudan, Central African Republic. We are centrally located and strategic. And because of the prevailing peace, largely in our country, it becomes very, very, very lucrative to come and invest in such kind of business venture. Two, Uganda, we are currently, government is investing into another route to the sea via Tanzania to Dar es Salaam. So once it's completed, that means we shall have a route through Mombasa and a route through Dar es Salaam. And that will give us highest redundancy in terms of connectivity to the rest of the world. Largely, I think in the recent past, Uganda has invested a lot in energy. We have stable electricity. So if you left Uganda when we are having load shedding, these days we are doing far much better. So we have enough energy to run these data centers and many other incentives that there exists in our country. So yes, I'm exciting you. The opportunity is immense. I'm telling you, we have only one tier 3 data center in the country. Some time back, I think our central government even was compelling all financial institutions that they should host locally all our transactional data. But those issues came in that, okay, you're putting up this law and regulations, but the capacity is still low, you know, for hosting. And that's why I think the central bank relaxed a bit, told them you have to put your primary site here, maybe the DR, you can put it elsewhere. But if you come and invest, you see the market is there. We shall activate all those provisions, compel all private players here to locally host our data in country without taking it out, which is still a lot of business. Data center here, it will employ many people. Our data will be here. It creates so many opportunities. Still, like I've said, the region, we shall be the regional hub for hosting here. Kenya has tried, and it seems they are also reaching full capacity. So we become the next destination for such kind of a service.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for answering that. Now let's go to, I know there's a youth and innovation question, and I think it needs to be addressed by the entire, all the panelists, because it's important. And I also have some people online who have been waiting patiently, like I welcome back all our panelists so that we can talk about these questions and this idea that the president had of the hub and how we can bring software engineering and other things to our primary secondary school leavers as part of not just if we're going to go into the digital economy. how do we get them? How do we get them to? How do we get these curriculum changes that are necessary to take advantage of all this money that's out there? So I don't know whether
Yeah.
whether
So Tend, I had a few thoughts.
okay.
Yeah.
This
So
Engineer Mchimba.
yes, I just wanted to jump in on some of the things.
Yes.
People were asking in the chat and recommended a think tank. And actually, that is one of the professional services that people in the diaspora can give, advisory services. Why? At the time when policies are being designed and all that, you can come in. As I can see, there are some questions that you will ask based on your, for example, I'm seeing questions on payment platforms, movement of money across regions and all, which can inform then a government-wide approach. We're talking about ICT here, but there are other sectors that are coming into play, the financial sector, the energy sector, and other infrastructure. So I also encourage you to plug into professional advisory services. There was also a question around, should we look at investing in Uganda only or the region? We all know that in Uganda, even the president and Africa, that the whole issue of EAC integration and common movement of goods. The other day, the Director General of URA was had to answer questions why the tariffs that Uganda is levying are not within the common tariffs of EAC, and he was saying he had to review it. So even as you come in, it gives you more economies of scale if you can be able to, yes, use Uganda as a launch pad to go into other regions because of the good things and benefits you have already talked about. So leverage Uganda, but feel free to expand outside Uganda within the East African region because there are already frameworks that are already enabling that. The other two aspects I wanted to touch on is that please, as you think of investing, Uganda is not a dumping ground for second-hand e-waste, electronic waste, all things that have failed. We still desire standard and quality. So as you, and the people here who are in IT, issues of certification are very important. Because if you have something that has not been certified, that doesn't mean standards, it's counterfeit, that is where problems start. So even as you come in, please attract partnerships that will also bring and make it easy for standards certification on the word go by design. And let's not go for the list saying because in Uganda anything goes, and maybe what you're reading on the news, in the ICT sector, not anything goes. So, so we want the best and most, especially because of cybersecurity. And also there was a point around cybersecurity. Yes, it is a live risk and it will continue. It's wide. It is not because of Uganda. There are always risks. When you tighten here, the fraudsters look for something else. So there's an opportunity for giving cybersecurity as a service, especially to small SMEs and startups. Tendo, you were asking questions around integration and tightening some of those things. You may find that expertise people, you have small SMEs, even like internet service providers who are small and they can only afford a few people. And paying a cybersecurity expert is very expensive. So if it is something that you can offer remotely, there was UCC runs a Cyber Stars initiative where universities compete in terms of so that you can grow that skill sets of the cyber professionals available because it's a gap that has been recognized globally. And there was a gentleman, I believe, who was working with one of the banks, and he said he was pursuing his PhD in the UK, but the bank retained him because he was a unique talent, and he could be able to direct or oversee that team in Uganda on cybersecurity because of remote and ICT. So you see that is an opportunity that you can actually provide services not only to the ICT but even to banks. Right now, cybersecurity experts are hot cakes, yeah, going around and all that. So you can be in the diaspora and you offer those services And so I just wanted to bring in that dimension that the opportunities may not be only in the ICT sector, but in other enabling sectors like fintech and so on, and you can plug in. On the youth and innovation, there was a question around whether there is a portal or something like that. I know that I was reading that the Ministry of ICT with UNDP last year came together with some developers to try and put in place a national portal and database. I don't know how far that has gone, but I was just checking on the call right now. I see that the Uganda National Council of Science and Technology has a site with innovators. They are listed a portal. I just discovered it just right now on the call. So it's something to look at, but that is something that can be pursued even further through the State House coordinator in terms of how can we get such. But it's very important that people can be able, innovators can be able to scan and see all that. UCC, Uganda Communications Commission, we run a number of innovation projects and also tying into the education sector, where we see there's a lot of potential. If you've been following the curriculum, most of us parents complain that they are not sure if their students are passing or not because now everyone has A's. So it seems Ugandans preferred seeing F's and G's, but that is a joke. Anyhow, so the secondary school curriculum was changed at first, and it's now looking at competence-based, and actually parents have had to have a paradigm shift because now you're looking for materials to do projects and all. It is not just a rote learning. And I believe that will cascade down to primary. But there are already robotics clubs, Lego clubs, and different civil societies that are already stimulating. And maybe when you have a chance to come back to Uganda, you should spend time with these young people and all that you in your communities. You'll be amazed at how much is happening in shifting and growing the skill sets of Ugandans. And so they are better future. Our children are already digital natives, and of course there are still some who are not advantaged, and that is where specific incentives come on because it is for all Ugandans, not just the privileged Ugandans. So those are some
Engineer Mujimba, I'll come back to one point.
Yeah.
One other major point, but I want to welcome Dr. Justice Athaire, who has a question regarding what are the strategies to improve bandwidth, power instability, and data backups. And that's Dr. Justice Athaire from one of our great doctors at Mulago Hospital. He worked on all the AIDS patients, and he made sure that not AIDS, but COVID patients, and he was so good at doing that. So welcome to this forum, Dr. Athaire. Your question about strategies to improve bandwidth, power, instability, and data backups. I don't know who wants to take that question.
Okay, I think also other colleagues will come in. I had touched a bit on it, and I had said that even when we are discussing AI and data centers, you need the energy bit. And one of the strategies I know the ministry has done is to demarcate like industrial parks, but those have not yet come up alive because you have to attract investors. But for example, there's a local phone assembling plant, 𝐔𝐠𝐚 Mobile, which is based in Namave, strategically placed there because then the other tariff system, those of us who the era, they have specific incentives for industry and all that. So that is one of the strategy is by zoning and having people there. Now, of course, coming from a doctor, I guess now this is more widespread in terms of power stability. If I'm digitizing, I'm in a hospital and power is unstable. I believe maybe this diaspora can bring in the energy sector next time to also, they have a lot of initiatives they are doing in rural electrification and all that, but it would be good to hear from them, from where you're sitting, so that they also see that this affects the attraction of investment, and indeed it does, yeah.
And one other suggestions on power, solar panels
the
and
other
other
thing
things.
I wanted to say, yeah, it's good you touched on that. In the ICT sector, for example, ATC, they are a tower company. They put up infrastructure, and the service providers just put their radio equipment and all. 76% of their sites are powered by renewable energy. And also that is another thing I wanted to talk about, that even as we go into this investment, let us leverage what we are gifted by nature. And what we are gifted by nature is we have the equator, we have sunshine, and so renewable energy plus the green energy grid is very important, because investment, those of you who are in diaspora know this, ESG is becoming an important thing. So there is also an opportunity for solar powered and renewable energy. There's already a renewable energy track under the Ministry of Energy, I believe. But also in our ICT sector, we see that already being leveraged in terms of rolling out infrastructure in order to reduce the carbon footprint that comes from rolling out ICTs. Yeah, thank you.
Third point of information for any project proposed, please route them via Mr. Bagonza, head of Diaspora Unit, State House. That way, he will ensure that they get to the right place. Then we have a question here about public awareness. I don't know who did it. Awareness, and majority of citizens are unaware of their rights under DPPA because do not know how to lodge complaints and cannot distinguish lawful from exploitative data requests. How are you prepared to make the public aware of where and when to use all avenues mentioned by government in case we have issues around data security and people who steal data? And we're going to have plenty of those, just like we have in the US. And also, what plans are in place to address those issues when they surface, the risks that are around this e-commerce e-commerce environment? I don't know who wants to take that on.
Tendo, can we allow people to ask if those who have their arms up, we can give them a chance to ask live?
Tell me, I don't see them here. I'm not aware of them.
Load them in.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm looking at them now. Participants, let me see. Okay, so whoever puts a hand up, I think they were typing some of these questions in. Attendees 72. Okay, iPhone. There's somebody on an iPhone. Let me take that question. Can you are you able to unmute?
Only one person has put up his hand. There are now two.
Oops. You're still muted. Try to unmute yourself. Oh. Then Mike Mukasa. Oh. Unmute yourself.
I have.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Mike Mukasa. Oh, yes, we can now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tendo, for organizing such a wonderful event. I also want to appreciate the lineup. All the presenters, the panelists, thank you so much. That's been very informative. So my name is Mike Mukasa, an offensive security engineer or penetration tester. In normal days, we call ourselves hackers. I have a team of security professionals here in the US from all domains. I have guys who do networking, risk assessment, penetration testing, auditing. So if anyone on this call, depending on which company you come from, you need a team for cybersecurity, we are here to serve. We are registered in Uganda. We also have a company in Uganda. But I've been very impressed with the lineup, the things, the information that has been shared. And I also want to thank the organizers, Mr. Bagonza. Thank you so very much for bringing us closer. Many times we come look for such opportunities, though we have the skills, but sometimes the bureaucracy is very hard to break through. But this is very good, and I think we're going to work together for so long. Thank you.
Now, where does he send his card? Just so that you can use him instead of using somebody else. Did you want us to let's get some other people who have other questions, and then we'll have the panelists answer each one of them. I see an iPhone. Please unmute yourself. Now that's you. Okay, and ask your question.
Thank you so much. My name is Ronald Katamba. I'm a software engineer and developer at Afrosoft IT Solution. Thank you, Mr. Bagonza, for bringing this. And I'm glad to hear my mentor, Salongo, also giving a view on cybersecurity. Mine will go to UCC because I believe I started my development, software development, and I developed an app for detecting diseases in cattle and monitoring. And UCC were the first people to recognize me. Actually, they even took me to Budapest, where I got my global award from there. But after getting the award, they forget you. They don't even come to you. And I think they should be able to recognize innovators who they see they are doing something good, other than winning, getting an award, then after they leave you there, and then you be there when you have nowhere to go. I'm glad
so you're not able to convert that into something realistic, and that's what you wanted to do. That building such an app, you wanted to help out, and somebody will address that. Okay, I got it. We got it. Now there's also Kashiza Fulgenci. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. You're still muted. We can't hear you. And while you unmute yourself, then maybe I'll ask Martin. Oh, there you are, Mr. Kasai. Go ahead, Mr. Kasai.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Kasai Fulgenci, and I'm just a student in the School of Law at KIU. My question goes, as Uganda builds the digital economy with the artificial intelligence, business process outsourcing, and data protection, what specific legal and policy skills should law students build now to support the government? Otherwise, thank you. Anyone can answer me from the panelists.
Okay, thank you for that question. That's a nice question. And then there is, who else do we have who's got their hand up? I think those are the only ones who have their hands up, as far as I can see. Okay.
Yes.
Do we have anybody else that we haven't? No, iPhone is all set. Mike
Yes.
Mukasa is all set. Now go
Martin
ahead.
here.
Yes.
Okay.
Martin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the organizing team, for this amazing session. And I thank God that we have very amazing thought leaders that are taking this conversation on, especially around AI. My name is Martin Ayabazibwe, Executive Director at 𝐔𝐠𝐚𝐬. 𝐔𝐠𝐚, we've been doing some work around developing the AI ecosystem. And from our past experiences, we've realized that there is need to, AI is changing every other day. I mean, the AI that we're dealing with in July is not the AI that was existing at the beginning of this year. It's a very fast evolving technology. And we realized that there's a lot of need to do a whole ecosystem development, right from the talent in universities to the private sector, back even up to the government sector, or the government buy-in, especially through the AI policy. And in our work and journey, as we've been advancing this evolving technology, we've had quite a number of partnerships with some of these companies globally, like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Dell, trying to bring in AI infrastructure, some of these GPU and AI servers. But our biggest concern has been, I think, how we can leverage the diaspora community, especially in painting the picture of what Uganda has and the potential it has. We've done some bit of BPO with some companies, but Uganda is not fundamentally known to have IT specialists or AI specialists. you want to think, usually a company would think about, for example, a South Korean company would quickly think about hiring someone from India than Uganda if they're looking for an AI engineer, which I think brings me to the question of how private partners, private organizations like 𝐒𝐤𝐿, any other organization that is into the AI space, can work deliberately with some of these offices like Diaspora Unit office to kind of, rebrand Uganda to both have the talent, to both have the buy-in politically, socially, so that we can bring it, because AI, I think somehow, some of these companies have invested 50, 60 years into some of this infrastructure. It may not make sense building from scratch, but it makes a lot of sense tapping into those resources. We have our contextual culture, knowledge in Uganda, and partnering with NVIDIA to bring in cheap or accessible resources for our students, for our private sector. I don't know how we could, how private-public partnerships could play a part, especially in bridging this.
I heard you, and you're saying to us now that unless we build these models now, they are transforming, they're moving away, and that door might close on us very soon unless we have a strategy for bringing in this the old models that are open source and putting them on premise, on Ugandan premise. Otherwise, they're going to filter them, they're going to change, and so you're looking for ways of getting that done. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what we got. We're already working with NVIDIA, Microsoft, Dell, but that's at a private level. How do we expand it? How do we co-create some kind of partnerships with government or some of these offices to expand the impact of these partnerships? Yes.
I have to apologize to those who are listening and those who are far away, and that we may extend, because these are big questions, that we may extend this this session so that some of these questions can be answered. Those who have texted in your questions, maybe some of the panelists can answer those questions and just type in and let some of the people know. But let's go back to the questions that we're asked and let our panelists, because now we have so many of them. Who wants to take the first stab at the first question that came?
Okay, there was a specific question from Ronald, who is personally known to me, because at that time when he entered the initiative, I had oversight over the innovation. And I just want to say that at that time, UCC, as you know, we are a regulator, and in order to stimulate research and development, we saw it that we needed to support young innovators. And what we did was more like a stimulus package. We had school ICT clubs, we have university students to take them further. That was the time when the conversations that you're hearing on innovation were not there. That what I gave in my remarks, and I think also it was either Tony or Augustine Tony who said that we have a national innovation hub, that actually benchmarked the initiative that Ronald benefited from. And the minister then, when he had the work that we are doing, then the Minister of ICT, who was Honorable Frank Tumwebaze, said, look, with the amount of money and I think what you do, you can never be able to support these young innovators the way you would. And hence the lobbying of I think it was around 15 billion Uganda shillings that went to setting up of the innovation hub. So whereas, and it is true, UCC as a government agency and moreover as a regulator was not going to be able to support all innovators in Uganda to the whole innovation ecosystem, to take them through prototyping, incubation, acceleration, commercialization, marketing, and all that, and continue, because we are not really an innovation hub. At least we provided the platform that demonstrated that there were possibilities, that these young innovators were there, and that then set the policy in place that birthed, among others, because then also NITAI was doing things, and the ministry said, look, from a policy perspective, we don't want to spread the resources of the government all over the place. why don't we lobby through the ministry to have the innovation hub? So I think Ronald and other innovators, there's still room. You've had, for example, Martin here, 𝐒𝐞𝐦𝐿 Foundation. There are SMEs that are thriving in AI. Right now, the ecosystem has matured. There's room. URSB is supporting this. There's the CTI and all that. And GCC has never closed doors in terms of even advising you and pointing you to the right direction. I think what I would like to advise young innovators is to have their minds open and not to think that necessarily that, and I'm saying this with a picture so that the answer is going to come from Tendo, yeah, per se. Tendo may not have the answer, but may point you to the direction. And that is why the platform that was given to Ronald was exactly for that, to showcase him to other investors. But right now, a lot has happened. URSB through the WIPO IP property, they appreciate innovation. The Innovation Hub at Nakawa is doing a lot of IP training. The ecosystem has changed, and I invite you to plug back in and see how you can connect and continue. Yes, then the issue of commercialization, and it's still there. It's still, I think someone on the call, it was Tony, or was it Tony? Yeah, who said, yeah, that the developers is still, it's still virgin. So we still need the accelerators, we still need the incubators, and that's why the ministry is partnering with universities, and so we are not yet done. Those challenges still exist. And the diaspora, these are also opportunities to listen to the cries of the Ronald Katamba, AfroSoft, and the work he did around there, and see how you can support them in addition to what government may be able to do. I wanted to comment on something else, but I've forgotten. I'll allow other people to come in. Yeah, thank you.
The student from law school. Maybe that's what you wanted to comment.
Yeah, that one was very funny because we all have, I have people who are lawyers and they're saying their jobs are going away because someone can draft something using AI and complete. But when it comes to lawyers, even as we are talking about this setting investment, I guess you need investment lawyers. So the issue is how do you then, everyone needs AI skilling. So all professions, we all need to get into AI skilling because what you're doing right now may be handed over to an AI agent in time, and you'll find that now maybe your job is to do assurance and maybe critical problem solving. So it is, yeah, legal services and like other professions all have certain threat levels when it comes to AI, but I think it's an opportunity to reposition yourself. So first start by getting information as a student, AI skilling, find out a lot about it. If you're going to help investors who want to invest in AI, 𝐒𝐞𝐦𝐿 was saying they have investors and all. Do they need legal services to understand the laws in Uganda and how they play out? You may have that local context. Yeah. So, yeah, but AI is threatening many professions.
It is threatening in the legal community, but there's a lot of opportunity there to automate some of these functions that we have. So it's just an amazing how, say for instance in the United States, most of this paperwork they've gone to e-court. And within 𝐒𝐞𝐦𝐿, there's a lot of opportunity to design tools that will help out with the court system. And we're not there yet. When I see what we have and what I've worked with here, we're not there yet. So there's an opportunity for you as a student to look at ways in which you can automate some of the processes there.
Yes, moderator, I could come in and also address about 3 questions that have been raised. So I will start on the one of awareness. I think it was raised by somebody in the chat.
Yes.
As NITA, but also government in general, segmented this awareness on cybersecurity, personal data protection. We've segmented it into 2. This awareness that we provide to the professionals, people usually call them the people at the top of the pyramid. So there is that awareness, elites, professionals, but we also have awareness for what commonly here is referred to as muntu wa wansi. For me, I don't want to use that one. I always call the person in that the people in that category, the ordinary people, abantu ba bulijjo, not muntu wa wansi. So starting from the ones at the apex of the pyramid, we have sessions, awareness sessions on security, on data protection, like the person data protection officers monthly webinars. They also have, they participate in fora that are organized by different, whether it is academia, whether it is a forum like this one, they participate to disseminate this information, to create awareness. So the office is open. We also open as NITA to support in that line. If there is anything, if there's any forum, we are ready. That is for the person at the apex or at the top of the pyramid. Then the ones at the bottom of the pyramid, we have campaigns. NITA, you right now, there's a campaign that we are running with, which is called 𝐵𝐸𝐸 ku Guard. 𝐵𝐸𝐸 ku Guard is aimed at giving the essentials on security, sharing of pins, responding to anonymous, to random callers or things like that. People are soliciting information randomly. How do you avoid them? How do you treat them? How do you handle them? All this is basic information or knowledge or awareness that you're creating amongst our people at the bottom of the pyramid. UCC has the popular Tom Fera campaign. I know the engineer will attest to this one. Tom Fera campaign, all this is awareness. We are using these channels to reach out to the people in that segment. So the other question was on, are we opening up these opportunities beyond the borders? Partly I answered this, that yes, as we are looking at the Ugandan market, we're also looking at the market outside Uganda at regional level. We are implementing the single digital market. Single digital market has quite a lot that people are interested in IT investments or investments in that sector. There's quite a lot there. All that we have alluded to is contained in the single digital market. You can go, for instance, and set up a data center in Nairobi. You can go and set up a cybersecurity institution in Burundi. Because we are opening up room for free movement of labor. We are opening up room for these digital platforms to be spread across. Relatedly, like I told you in the 𝐹𝐶FTA digital trade protocol, I remember there was some emphasis that was put on the African-owned digital platforms and African-owned digital content. That this content or platforms are going to be allowed to operate across the East African state parties without imposing duties. So all these opportunities that government is creating for investors, for us, for the diaspora community. Finally, the student who has raised the issue of skills, I'm seeing, by the way, as technology changes or as we get into technologies, the opportunities that unveil. So what the student should do is to position as one who is not a typical legal officer, a typical lawyer. Because a typical lawyer is one who picks the law and then they see where the lines, but a person who is of this age must be able to adduce evidence, for instance, in court, using, for instance, analytics, machine learning. Should be this person who can adduce evidence from sensors, cameras. If you position yourself along those lines, I'm telling you, the sky will be the limit. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're running out of time, and I'd like to ask the team that put this together so that we can do it again. I think there's so many questions that people have around this e-commerce and this digital economy that I don't know, maybe I thought I saw Mr. Bagonza, maybe we could have another session in the near future so that we can have those who were not able to get their questions answered. There is a Doug Bass, if you can quickly ask that question, because we are running out of time and many people are leaving. Somebody called Doug Bass. And some of these questions, I think we can, I don't know how we can deal with that. Any suggestions from the panelists, how we can deal with some of the questions that are in here that we didn't answer right away?
Mr. Tendo,
Yes,
questions that are not answered can come in to our office and we get answers from the respective MDAs.
Okay.
Anyone with a question that was not answered can send it straight to us on our emails on our website, and we can get answers from the MDAs or our panelists.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe if I can add, just before you close,
Yes.
I think the diaspora that have been able to join, those that were not able, we understand because the time difference, they could be at work, but we are available anytime. We are here to build these partnerships because the diaspora has built partnerships in the countries where they have developed. All the development, you can say it's a 50-50. So we are here. Please come to us. We have a fully engaged and active State House Diaspora Unit headed by SPA Mr. Bagonza and his team. They are very, very, very efficient at what they do and they love what they do. So please reach out. They know how to find all of us. And we're willing to support whichever way we can, anytime. Thank you.
Fantastic. So are we taking these last two questions? People with their hands up. Doug Bass, ask your question very quickly.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation, all protocol observed. My name is Salongo Basalira from the UAE, and I'm a Trade and Development Executive on the Association of Uganda and UAE Executive. So my question or my remarks that I would like to share, one is that I would like to ask the ladies and gentlemen who have presented today. We happen to be in the UAE where technology is robust and so much is going on, especially in terms of AI and everything. So you are encouraging us to come home and invest and also to, of course, get other investment partners. I would like to understand, do we get a tax holiday in such an arrangement like other investors are normally given when they actually do such initiatives? That is one. Then
okay, hold that thought for a minute. Hold that thought for a minute. Now we have Flora Nasuna. Ask your question very quickly. How did she go? I think she left. Okay. Flora Nasuna, unmute yourself. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead and ask your question. Oh, we can't hear you. Something is wrong with your mic. But who wants to answer that? I think it was answered before, but somebody can take a stab at it, and then we will. One of our panelists will take a quick stab at it, and then I'll ask the closing question.
Mr. Tendo,
okay.
We have an answer for that question. And I also want to inform our dear viewers or dear diasporians that all this, if you have missed any session, is recorded and uploaded on our YouTube channel. So if something was answered, you can go on our channel, State House Diaspora Unit. I can listen to everything within the next 24 hours. You'll have the whole session recorded and uploaded. It has been recorded. It will be uploaded. So let's do notes and we mind time. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. With that said, this is the last closing question. If you were advising a Ugandan living in London, Dubai, Toronto, or Washington today, where would you recommend they invest in Uganda's digital economy? I think that was answered as well. So that was the last question that we have. We want to thank you, all those who have attended, our panelists, our great panel. Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. And, you know, never did we think that there'll be a time where we can come and say that we're not looking at oil, we're not looking at cash crops, we're not looking at tourism, but we want to enable all these businesses and put together the farmer almanacs and put together other forecasting methods using IT. And it's such an exciting time that we are in. And thank you so much for listening to us. And you will be hearing from us again. My name is Tendo Kaluma, and I'm delighted to be here with you. Off to you, Mr. Matsuko.
Thank you, Mr. Tendo, for this session. And I also want to thank our panelists for their time and sharing the knowledge from the Diaspora Unit. We thank everybody for participating. We also have to let you know that such kind of engagement is scheduled for every 2 weeks up to the end of the year. Our next webinar will be on the 2nd of July, and our theme is health, medical insurance, and wellness. And we shall typically discuss this because it affects everybody. We shall discuss health investment in Uganda, mental health support for Ugandans in the diaspora. So keep time and make sure you log in. From State House Diaspora Unit, thank you everybody, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, team. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, team, for putting this up. Thank you.
Thank you.